Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our live recorded session of Arc 6, Chapters 67 to 68. We are getting closer to the end of Arc 6. Thank you all for being here. So sorry for that delay. We had to get some things done. We're missing a couple people today, but we're still going to charge through with this chapter read. We are still caught up with the podcast. Nothing for us to post at the moment, so we are going to try our best to get something recorded in the next couple days. Arc 7 is still underway. These past couple weeks, I think we've just been taking a little bit of a unannounced hiatus of sorts, besides our live streams. Just because we're enjoying our summer breaks, we're finally able to just take a quick relax before everything gets back up and running for the school year. So, thank you guys for your patience, and we very much appreciate it. I don't think we have any further announcements, so without further ado, let's get the team on, and welcome in everyone. Hello, Jay Dudley, how you doing? You guys are live.
Hello.
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 Hello. Oh, the one thing we forgot to do was to restart the call. Let's all leave and come back after I join VRV. All right. There we go. Okay, we're going to introduce everyone in a sec. Yay!
We've returned.
We've returned.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Yay!
Hello, everyone.
Oh, everyone's
Woo!
crispy again. Yay! Crispy.
Crispy like a Granny Smith apple.
Your accents are on fire today, Al. What the hell?
Yes.
Without further ado, take it away with the introductions. Al, number one, Stain.
Hello, everyone. I am the guy in the basement. But for today, we have completely removed the guy who is supposed to be guarding the basement. I have marked him alive.
Wahoo!
Woohoo!
Wah!
Ooh.
Oh my god! Mario! Okay, wait.
Sean!
Get to the Luigi show now.
Oh my god. Oh, Grainy here, one of the editors of Studio Reverie. I have escaped the basement because I have replaced Julius for today.
Haha!
Woo. Hello, I am Carmen, another one of the editors for Studio Reverie, as well as your live button, Kaitos.
And your RAM today.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
and Ram.
spoilers.
I forgot about that.
Oh, sorry. Spoilers.
It's gonna be fucking Mario today.
Oh my
Hold
god.
on,
that would
Luigi's
be so
accent is
funny.
slipping. Hold on.
We are fucking wounded.
Is this what we're gonna do now? Anyone we have to replace, we just have a crazy ass voice for? Because I'm kind of here for that.
That would be so entertaining as hell.
It's on me, a lead.
I'm Barisay.
I am
Barisay.
I'm here now.
Barisay.
Oh no! I'm Kyle's McGuiles. I'm your Amelia. I'm Shala, but all she does is make hissing sounds today. And I will be finally narrating. Wahoo!
Woo!
I think it's my first chapter in Arc 6.
Nice.
Yay!
Only 68 chapters in.
Not 69?
I could
Fuck!
have sworn
Oh.
that you had voiced something.
I thought I did a narration. I don't think I have for Arc 6. I did a lot in Arc 5. Because I just didn't want to wait for people
Really?
anymore. I might have done a chapter or two, though. I don't think so,
Oh,
though.
you did
I'll
half
verify.
of 43.
Yeah, 43.
Oh,
I think.
yes. I did half of
Mhm.
43. Yes, that's true. Okay,
Yeah.
Muggy.
No, but I mean, it still counts in terms of getting a chapter.
That's
Mhm.
true.
And you did half of 21 as well.
Oh, that's a
when
whole... I'm a
died
liar.
midstream.
Yes,
Half
it's
was
right.
half. That's one whole chapter.
Yep.
Yay!
Castle of lies comes
That's called
crumbling
math.
down.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Wolf. You were completely muted. Try again.
Your castle of lies comes crumbling down. You can't censor me forever.
I fixed it. I was like, why have we been ignoring you this whole time? My bad. Sorry. Tealdi!
Hey, hi, I'm Tealdi. I'm filling in for Betty. I am narrating chapter 67, and I am also Louie.
Louie!
Hello, everyone. Wolf here. I'm your Subaru. I'm also the last standing co-host of the ReZero podcast.
This seems to happen often.
This is
Yeah.
happening. I'm fighting through.
They
There's
really
a lot of
only-
final stands.
Yeah. They really only show up for this, huh? In the podcast, huh?
Ha!
It's like they have a life or something. I don't know what that's like.
What? Ew.
Gross.
Ew. I feel like the majority of our cast for Arc 6, we are the no-lifers here. Everyone else has a life except for all of us. No, that's a lie.
Where we just make bad life choices and
There it is.
work in anyway.
There it is.
Oh, I don't know if the viewers figured it out, but I am not in the car this time.
You are not in the car. No voice acting and driving here.
Thank
Yes,
God.
don't do that.
No, that is not responsible.
I was super ill
Yeah.
yesterday. I'm gonna hopefully make it through both chapters. I think I will. I'm in a good vibe. But if we have
Don't
to end it
worry.
at 1, we might have to end it at 1. But we probably won't. I'm not gonna
That'll
throw
be
up
alright.
like I did with the Capella chapter. Not today.
Don't die mid-chapter.
That was a rough chapter.
Yeah.
Shout out
Mhm.
to Tealdi for covering.
It's like, we need to. I'm in. Go.
Put me in, coach.
We need a woman.
Tag me in. I got this.
Welcome
Deploy
in,
the other
Charlotte.
female voice.
Whee!
Deploy other voice.
Oh,
Deploying backup.
beep boop bop. All right, shall we get started with the chapter, everybody?
You're
Yes.
ready?
I'm gonna pull it.
I am already know.
We are
Oh, boy.
ready.
Watch, we're gonna have Mario for the stream.
Wahoo!
Yeah, well, I don't think it's gonna stay
Yay.
that much longer.
That's probably
Dude,
for
you
the
just-
best.
Ah, you little prick.
I say, yes, I'm ready, but I have no lines in the first one, so.
I'm so sorry.
You see how what threw me off and made me laugh way more on your introduction is because I pull up Discord and I see the dumb GIF you put up there and you're talking as an introduction. That's what made
Oh,
me
yeah.
start laughing.
What?
Welcome to the
So,
stream.
My dinosaur pet mashing you to death with a hammer.
Oh my god! All right. I shall keep us focused. That's the Julius. We shall
Alrighty.
start.
Hi.
All right. Here we go.
Lame-o.
Arc 6, Chapter 67, Little King. Witnessing the figure of the man before his eyes ridiculously claiming himself to be Louis Arneb, Super was at a loss for words. The man's way of appearing was unforeseen and unnatural, but what was further unexpected was the name he had given for himself. It was difficult to conceive it as a mere prank, and even if it were no prank, it yet remained a phenomenon grueling to accept.
Ram did hear something about a shape-shifting Sin Archbishop. It seems that was in regards to this. However, the choice of the form taken is rather questionable. Did you think you would receive any mercy by opting for this appearance?
Shape-shifting, huh? You mean that prattling loudmouth woman? Grouping us with that thing hurts even us. Besides, that thing's principle in our solar eclipses is totally different. That one would be mimicry, while this is reconstruction.
Mimicry? Reconstruction?
That mighty body of his wriggling, the interim Louis replied. As he frowned at that answer, hearing Ram mention another Sin Archbishop left a bad taste in Subaru's mouth. Though it was only to be expected that there would be sins and Sin Archbishops other than gluttony in existence, being acquainted with even one of them stemmed into an immediate dislike for all of them. Though he was supposed to be able to change their forms, it was intriguing why he had not used that ability until now. That being said, this body which is being treated as an unknown person was actually quite a famous person, you know. Though sadly, Nisam and the others wouldn't have any memory of the people eaten by us.
Famous person? In other words, you're borrowing the form of an eaten person? Is that so? It truly is the worst kind of thing to do. Totally fits you people who have committed themselves to doing evil. Nauseating.
Wow, Nisama, jeez. Your words are so dirty they hurt, you know? If you say that, then we, who still have memories as your younger sister, will feel ashamed. And that was as far as the interim Louis' conversation went. The interim Louis flexibly leaned forward, and from behind came a blow, a hammer of ice. Its strike dodged. Of course, the attacker was...
Ah, missed.
How merciless, Emilia-sama. Oni-chan may have allowed you to let him get a taste of it, but we won't allow such an ambush to hit us, you know.
If it won't hit, then I'll just keep attacking till it does. I don't even want to ambush you. I just want to strike you down.
Proclaiming so, Emilia changed the hammer of ice she held in her hands into twin swords of ice and attacked the interim Louis. However, the interim Louis dodged her attack with an extraordinary jump above and aimed for Emilia's slender hands from a higher angle. Here!
Yeah!
Her body sharply rotated. Emilia's frame was thrown off balance. Emilia twisted her body and used her arms in order to prevent herself from falling on her back. However, the interim Louis aimed straight for her face with his toe. Should it be too late, then Emilia's face, the cutest in the world, would get squashed. At that point...
Stop ignoring Ram and fighting all by yourself already.
Ram!
Ram, confirming the movement of the opponent aiming for Emilia's face, pointed the wand held in her own hands towards the face of the interim Louis. At that moment, an extremely small wind was born, and transformed into a blade, was launched to slice up the opponent's face. Palm of the Fist King! Nullifying Ram's powerful attack with minimal strength, using his palm, the interim Louis avoided the damage and then pounced downwards. His perforating palm received the blade of wind from below, swallowing the wind in its shockwaves and scattering it subsequently. Crushing the wind with his right hand, the interim Louis then tried to grip onto Ram with his free left hand. However, by the time his hand reached Ram, the latter had already taken Emilia away with herself out of the opponent's reach, withdrawing to a position where they could mend their handling of the battle. You're doing it! Clenching his swinging left free hand, the interim Louis applauded Ram's judgment and strength of action. Shaking his praise away with a ridiculing exhale, Ram then pulled Emilia's hand towards herself.
Emilia-sama, are you unhurt?
Yes, thank you. It would have been pretty painful for me if it wasn't Ram saving me. Even so, did you see that just now?
It seems they have clearly gotten stronger.
Ram nodded, gesturing her knowledge upon Emilia's response. And, listening to the short dialogue between the two, Suber also held the same opinion as them. Although it had only been a short exchange of moves, the interim Louis' maneuvers were swift and accurate. Though it was the opinion of someone inexperienced, these abilities probably exceeded those of Baton Kaitos. At the end of that exchange, Ram's attack had been completely crushed, as if reality were messing around with them. The one right now was the Palm of the Fist King, named by the one who possessed this body and memory, the Fist King, Neji Rockheart, possessing the strongest palm, capable of blasting away anything, a powerful person without peer in the Gladiator Island.
It seems you are not familiar with revealing your strengths. In the end, you are just trying to show that you are at a disadvantage. Ram will not be fooled and hesitate because of this.
We wouldn't mind that at all, Nisama, to the point that we want you to corner us if you can. You see, once you look back onto the sweet memory of defeat later on.
Who knows? Ram only knows of victory, so she doesn't understand that.
Is that so? That's just the waste of not knowing the sourness of life. The moment he said that, the interim Louis' figure was scratched out of visibility. It would seemingly be more accurate to say that he had literally disappeared, rather than merely moved swiftly.
Huh?
Ram widened her eyes at the enemy's unexpected move. Even she had been unable to grasp the opponent's position. There was no way for her to escape.
Ram, watch out!
Saying that, this time it was Amelia who grasped Ram and leapt backwards. Several of Amelia's beautiful silver hairs were too late to escape that attack, as they were caught up in the impact of the strike and were slashed off, scattering around in the aisle. And the one visible was not a fast warrior, but instead a bald man, as he laughed with, "Ha ha!" That man, in possession of a somewhat jumpy appearance and wearing a bright orange gown, the man smacked his lips at the form of Amelia and Ram fleeing. "How nice, so nice, isn't it nice? Can you touch the next one?"
Yeah!
At that moment, the form of that famous person disappeared into thin air, and that of a different one appeared. This seemed as if it were payback for the earlier surprise ambush. From one blind spot to another, a flashing dagger made accurate attacks energetically. Amelia, while still holding Ram, continued to fend the attacks off with utmost effort. "You're doing it! You're doing it! Doing it! How are you seeing through these secret maneuvers of the Leaper, Dorkel? It's truly a mystery."
That's obvious. I guessed it.
Of course. That is not all to it. There's also Ram's support, Emilia-sama.
Yes.
Flying into a blind spot, the interim Louis launched an attack. Although the opponent was someone capable of flying around freely, all whilst maintaining that vicious smile, Ram was able to see where he would appear next. On Ram's call, Amelia swung her long legs rapidly. With that, when the bald man appeared next, Amelia's heel struck his side.
Hey-ya!
Catching her opponent's face with her heel, Amelia did a 180 and slammed him onto the ground. At that moment, Amelia held her hand aloft and a pillar of ice rose from the ground. Without mercy, she launched the sharp, pointed tip of one towards her fallen opponent. If the blow were to not be defended away, the strike would penetrate right through his chest. It would make for a truly unpleasant finish. However, unfortunately enough, it was not effective whatsoever. The skin of the carnivorous beast, belly Heinelga, cannot be pierced, not even by a holy sword, is what they used to say. Shattering the pillar of ice with his bare back was a middle-aged man with an enormous beard, smiling ferociously. Lying down, he aimed for Amelia's waist with his arm, which seemed to be more like a log, and somehow repelling that attack, Amelia made haste and flew backwards.
Hey, at this pace...
Emilia-sama, please let go of Ram.
No! As if I'll abandon Ram.
That will not be so.
Amelia escaped from the enemy with Ram in her grip, and Ram sealed her lips by gently placing a finger onto them. Ram shook her head looking at Amelia, whose words she had interrupted.
What it means, rather, is that it's about time you let Ram attack as well.
The moment she said that, she swept away Amelia's arms gripping her, and stood firm directly against the giant. Seeing that, the interim Louis smacked his rock-hard lips and launched his palm towards the young girl. Get crushed!
Assuming that is even possible, politely say, please be crushed, Ram-sama.
With that comeback, Ram charged straight towards the approaching palm. If the situation were to be slightly exaggerated, then it could be said that the palm was enormous enough to crush Ram's entire body. Recklessly clashing head-on with that palm would be the same as clashing head-on with an approaching car. At the very least, that appeared to be so in Subaru's eyes. In response to that, Ram... Ugh!
At this level, you should not even think yourself to be able of catching Ram.
At the moment those fingers were about to reach her, Ram, relaxing her lips, dodged the attack with minimal movement and launched her elbow onto the opponent's face. That fair elbow, possessing sharpness that could not be imagined given how delicate it was, bore into the snout of her opponent, mercilessly sending shocks through the body of the carnivorous beast. And at that moment, Ram's left hand was brought down, being employed as a sword, striking at her opponent's Adam's apple, which had come into view.
You've continued to blabber nonsense for quite some time. It is getting irritating now. Embrace your misfortune and be split asunder by Ram's hand here, you despicable thing of a person.
As she continued to strike at his body's vital points, lacking proper training, the interim Louis faced problems. Ram charged in without any vacillation, this time stabbing at his guts, protected by his bulky surplus of flesh. And at the moment its sharp tip became buried in the mass of flesh, thereupon wind magic was invoked, and his huge body was easily sent flying backwards.
Strong!
Suber's eyes went wide at the sight of the interim Louis splattering blood onto the aisle whilst rolling and bouncing. Till now, he had concentrated on observing the fight so much that he had forgotten to breathe, but the moment Ram stood upon the battlefield, the flow of the fight was reversed in a flash. Of course, though all of it was based on the fact that Ram could not drag on battling for too long.
Ram fighting this much is a miscalculation I'm happy for.
That isn't the case, in fact. You cannot rely on just Ram, I suppose.
Huh? What does that...
Mean was what Suber intended to ask Beatrice, who was in his arms, his head tilted. And before Beatrice could respond to his query, the answer itself appeared before him. With a jerk, Ram's posture, as she tried to step ahead, broke down. Subaru strained his eyes to see whether she had accidentally slipped, but that was not the case. Ram's forehead and neck were flooded with sweat, and it was visible that every continuing breath was hurting her. At that instant, to speak of the likes of prolonging that offensive and defensive battle with lives on the line was nothing but the height of folly. Taking the state of affairs from just before into account, the situation faced a change most extreme. For a short period of time, then Ram's sense for combat is unmatched, I suppose. However...
She has a time limit like that? Oh no! Ram!
Unaware of such a weakness of hers, he had sent Ram into that dangerous situation. At the same time Subaru raised a voice of panic, the interim Louis changed into the form of the muscle-rich huge man once again. Aiming for the stationary Ram, the enemy moved forward briskly with his palm pointed outwards, seeking to make a successful onslaught. If she were to receive a direct hit, it was unknown how much Ram would actually be able to take.
Ram!
Shut your mumbling! You are so damn loud for a man! Subaru called out desperately, but Ram showed no signs of response. At that moment, the interim Louis' blow captured Ram's face directly.
Ram understands her own weak points better than anyone else. That is why...
I'm fighting alongside Ram.
Jumping over the kneeling Ram's head, with her silver hair fluttering, Emilia moved in the way of her enemy. Against the opponent who had his palm directed towards his own front, the tactics Emilia had chosen were very simple. The move she had chosen was to have an innumerable number of weapons of ice float in the air and fire them all towards her opponent at once. The interim Louis launched off his body as he had positioned his empty palm against the rain of ice. Avoiding, dodging, defending away, destroying, and finally overcoming the scope of the overwhelming storm of ice flawlessly, nothing managed to even scratch the interim Louis. That ability was, again, that of an expert who had achieved heights of proficiency. The truth was, the Fist King who had been made victim by gluttony was perhaps a true warrior, who had trained with extreme perseverance to gain such prowess. That power was now being exploited like this. The power he had trained to achieve and the fame he had received for being such a great warrior, Gluttony's power had stolen everything away from him and continued to mock and ridicule his journey of life. In fact, it was possible that they had achieved new heights of skill, heights which had not been achieved by the original owner of these memories. He could not help but despair seeing the form of Gluttony, dispelling all of Amelia's attacks and blows with ease, now sighing an exhale of achievement. How nice! This is the best! How do we put it? Sort of like we had completely reconstructed the catalog specs of this memory, but only after we exceeded even that, we felt as if living in this body would be worth it. Sort of feels like we made better use of the borrowed soul compared to its original owner. We're glad we were able to live it.
Quite the extreme conception for someone with bad taste.
Perhaps so. But you see, for us, who are different from normal people, don't you think it's only natural that what we find happiness in would be different too? Don't you think so? Perhaps you think so. Possibly you think so?
Who knows? Isn't that so, Emilia-sama?
No, you're wrong.
Prompted by the words of Ram, who shrugged her shoulders, Emilia responded to the interim vicious-looking man. No, Louis Arneb, whilst letting go the chunks of ice he held in his palm. Upon receiving that question, Emilia then upheld the spears and axes of ice that rose from the floor.
No matter how different you may be from others, you can still be happy and sad by thinking of the same things. I, for example, was always alone, but I enjoyed stacking rocks on river beaches.
That, as well, feels unique in its own way, though.
We see. Indeed, indeed. We also have memories of stacking rocks on river beaches. But that's...
See?
But we didn't do it because it was fun. It's just that there was nothing else to do. There was just no other thing to kill our time with.
Is that so?
Surprised, Emilia made a confused expression, seeing the happiness of her memories get rejected. And behind Emilia reacting in that way, Ram called out, "Emilia-sama!" with more strength than normal.
Please do not get swayed by the enemy. The opponent is a Sin Archbishop. If they wish to demolish our plans, they will use whatever words necessary. Do not be deceived.
It is? Yeah, it is. Yes, I know. I won't be deceived anymore.
What can we say? That was a truly hurtful thing to say. Our one and only niece Sama would leave us behind, so we had no choice but to do that.
Shut up!
Once again, Ram kicked the frozen floor and launched her body towards Louis, who had repeatedly voiced words which had pierced straight through her heart. Her body's condition was not at its best. Well aware of that, Ram charged straight towards her enemy as to crush them, as to not allow the defilement of that which must not be defiled. Ram's intimidating roar pierced straight through Louis. However...
This time I'm with her. So if you want to surrender yourself, this is your chance.
Gratitude for such graciousness, but there's no need for it.
Enough of your stubbornness!
Making a cute expression, but using brutal attacks which were not cute in the least, was Emilia. The duo of the enraged Ram and Emilia went in together. However, Louis repulsively kept switching his form and battle style with absolute freedom, controlling the battle's pace as per his own will. In this overwhelming duel, there were two things that would surprise anyone observing it. First was the masterful coordination between Emilia and Ram. In the previous loop, Emilia's name had been stolen, and because of that her existence had been forgotten, and her battle style became unknown to all. Thus, there had been a discrepancy between her and Julius, who was unaware of her style of fighting. However, there was not the slightest of that discrepancy in Emilia and Ram's case, not even the slightest of lag. Of course, Though it did not mean that the adjustments Amelia made were meaningless, what was of utmost relevance here was Ram's wonderful sense for combat.
Ha!
Truly, what a nuisance you are, Nisama! Just when he was about to counterattack, her wand was pointed towards his nose and, narrowly dodging the subsequent piercing of the blades of wind, Louis pulled out his tongue. Although what Ram had performed was not something too substantial, Amelia utilized such gaps to their advantage by further putting pressure on Louis and halting him from counterattacking. Although her moves were not too showy, Amelia would readily unleash blows towards her opponent at the last second, blows in which she always put her all. That endeavor from her was something worthy of a commendation. The breathtaking cooperation between the duo of Amelia and Ram was all thanks to Ram's judgment. That was one of the things which surprised Subaru the most. And there was something else which was equally surprising. And that was... how nice, so nice, very nice. Perhaps it is nice, surely it is nice. Isn't it nice? Maybe it is nice. Probably it is nice, as it is probably nice. Gluttonous drinking, gluttony. Our mood and feelings may be getting higher and higher as well.
He's right. His strength is gradually increasing.
Irritating.
Chewing on her own teeth, Amelia launched the twin sword she held in her fist, while Ram darted a blade of wind aiming for the opponent's feet. However, Louis, becoming the Fist King, crushed Amelia's twin sword with his palm. Becoming the Leaper, dodged Ram's attack. Becoming the Carnivorous Beast, rolled his body through the passage of ice. The shockwave he released impacted Amelia and Ram, pushing them backwards as they let out a screech. The coordination between Amelia and Ram was undoubtedly highly refined. However, as surprising as it seemed, Louis' prowess in using and switching memories was even faster. Possibly, by changing forms, Louis was able to perfectly reconstruct those memories with no limitation whatsoever. Solar eclipse. That was indeed what Louis had said. Before he had lost his body, Baten Kaitos, Louis' elder brother as well, had copied Amelia's awesome technique called Icebrand Arts in the previous loop, but its reconstruction was limited to him maintaining his own form. Louis had exceeded that. A solar eclipse was a phenomenon in which the sun got hidden behind the moon's shadow, consequently becoming invisible. Perhaps Louis' true body was treated as the sun, which got shadowed by the moon, the reconstructed name and memories. In other words, solar eclipse could safely be assumed to be an ability to change one's body into the body of the one whose memories had been eaten, and therefore fully wield their power as one's own. Consequent was the Louis before them, using that ability's advantage. And
If there's a solar eclipse, it's natural to think that a lunar eclipse exists too. But what kind of power would come from the hiding of the moon? No. Can I even figure it out beforehand?
on the topic of the usual cliche of there being someone being capable of copying abilities, what happened oftentimes was that the user's inexperience and lack of proper knowledge to use those abilities resulted in a discrepancy, resulting in their defeat. However, Gluttony's copying ability, which obviously would include Louis as well, overcame that weakness perfectly by using the victim's own body and memories. It was clear that this was a flawless, perfect copying ability, one that avoided the cliched method of defeat.
This is bad. If Amelia-chan and the rest get overpowered, the situation will change.
Tightly grabbing his own chest, Subaru gnashed his teeth at the sense of helplessness for being unable to do anything regarding the scene in front of him. Starting with Amelia and Ram, who had engaged in battle against Gluttony, his other comrades had already commenced their own battles at various places in the tower. Echidna had evacuated Rem and Patrichet to Tegeta, while Meili went to attend to the large hordes of witch beasts surrounding the tower. And finally, at the second floor, The tempestuous movements visible from Julia showed that the state of affairs had changed in quite a dramatic fashion.
Julius must be struggling a lot too. On second thought, is his opponent actually Reed?
Subaru? Just what are you saying, in fact? Where are you looking, I suppose?
Where are you looking? And what are you saying? Huh? Beatrice! That's...
Beatrice, within his arms, heard his muttering and looked up, blinking once. She furrowed her brows alongside her murmur, laced with lack of understanding. Subaru perceived it all of a sudden, as he was about to reply. Unquestionably, he would be unable to firmly state that what he was saying or looking at right now. But
What's this? I can sense what everyone's doing, and where they are. I see it.
grabbing his chest in a crushing grip, Subaru slowly realized the existence of that feeling, a feeling of incongruence, upon sensing those blurry, faint dots of light. They enlightened Subaru regarding the actions of his comrades present in various places within the tower. He could also sense Ram and the others, and at that moment Subaru accepted this as if it were something natural, like a third arm by birth. However, this was nothing like being naturally born with a third arm. The moment he noticed that, Subaru realized just how unnatural this situation was, and a sense of rejection and unacceptability rose within his own heart for his own thoughts. However, grinding his molars, he swallowed the thought back in, so that he would not spit it out. If a third arm had developed out of nowhere at this moment, then he should rightfully accept it, and shake off his feelings of rejection for it. He was able to get a rough grasp on the whereabouts of everyone, on the situation everyone was in. In a situation in which all his comrades had to split up, could there be any power more suitable than this?
Quickly, silently, belong to me.
The form of this unnatural power had appeared in concert to Natsuki Subaru's soul. What naturally came to his mind was the Hall of Memories, where he had first faced Louis Arneb and the strength that had bloomed within his own body before he left that place. He had given it a name as well. Yes, that name was...
Core! Leonis!
The moment he called that name, awareness and control flooded over Natsuki Subaru's soul. And the power crowned as Lion's Heart rightfully gave the ability, no, the authority over itself to Natsuki Subaru, the fruit it bore being... Subaru! Suddenly, Subaru's feet became unsteady due to the crushing weight of his body. The moment she noticed that, Beatrice shouted in panic, but he was unable to respond due to his headache. Tinnitus so loud to the point of causing a sudden throbbing headache tormented Subaru's body. What was even worse was the awful fatigue his body was afflicted with, accompanying a tear-jerking pain in his bones. The combination of pain and exhaustion crushed his entire body, making Subaru kneel down instantly. A voice echoed within his mind, questioning what this was. The abrupt, overwhelming strain on his body was a combination of pain and fatigue. His body felt heavy, as if poisoned, and he was panting like he kept on running after his stamina had exhausted itself. Rubbing his back, Beatrice panicked due to Subaru's dramatic change. As he felt somewhat eased by the touch of her small palm, Subaru turned his eyes towards the situation. At that moment, Subaru was trying to properly exercise the authority that had blossomed within him just now, Corleonis. No, it felt as if he were merely continuing to exercise it. His very condition right now as well, was the result of Corleones's usage. If that was so, then just what meaning did that ability hold? Subaru's body felt leaden, fatigue was increasing, and until now he had done nothing that would... Indeed, Subaru himself could not do anything. Instead of him...
Ah!
Out of nowhere, a dry voice echoed as Louis continued to look while his attack slashed through the sky. Louis, who yet remained in the form of the Fist King, was showing off his violent combat techniques, overpowering Emilia and Ram, doing with them as per his wishes, as if making sport of them. And right when he was doing so, Louis's arm was grabbed and its joint seized in a lock, and...
Heck,
Without any hesitation or mercy, Ram kneed his joints, breaking Louis's right arm. A repulsive sound echoed, exposing the newly broken white bones within, as the fibers of his light pink muscles hung down, and the color of blood spread through the frozen white passage, a sight painful to even look at.
too slow.
With a revolution, Ram's iron-hard elbow smashed right into the opponent's face. With the same pace, Ram clutched the enemy's hair at the back of his head and smashed him into the wall, whilst continuing to thrust her right fist towards his torso. When Louis's body, just after the sounds of his ribs cracking echoed, tried to get back onto her, Ram delivered her own kick with an unaccepting expression, and the giant's body rolled at the floor at a fast pace, splattering blood around.
Ram's body feels lighter?
Clenching her fists repeatedly, Ram widened her eyes in surprise due to her own body's movement. Emilia, having been a first-hand witness of her ability and the tremendous fighting prowess in her body, also commented, "Amazing!" Beatrice had been concerned about Ram's fatigue, so Ram's absurd moves right now had cleared away any temporary concerns. And that was as far as Subaru's thinking went, before he realized.
This can't be. Could it be that I took Ram's fatigue?
Comparing the improvement in Ram's physical condition and the worsening of Subaru's, that indeed seemed to be the case. Truth was, the light Subaru was able to sense. There were two in front of him which seemed to stand for Emilia and Ram, and he could sense something flowing into himself from there. Understanding that that was the position of his comrades, he was indeed taking on their Malay, meaning...
Corleones means lion's heart.
The answer to that lay in Subaru's knowledge of the stars. The authority of greed, which Subaru had unintentionally named Corleones. That was, in fact, a Latin expression which meant lion's heart, referring to the star named Regulus, the brightest of the constellation of Leo. However, Regulus also meant something else aside from Corleones in Latin, which was Little King. Lion's heart and Little King. As lions themselves were called the king of all beasts, the alias of king was well-fitting. It was understandable. But what did the little affixed to it mean? A little lion king. The king of a pride. What exactly made one deserving of the title of king? That was...
One who carries everyone's wishes. That's who a king is. That's why...
The Corleones in Natsuki Subaru's possession would lighten the burden on the back of his comrades, so that his comrades could fight without restraints. He, as the king of the pride, would take on everything in their stead. If that was so, then what Natsuki Subaru was supposed to do had been decided.
If I'm spitting blood, then that means the preparations are all okay.
Subaru?
My bad. I made you worry. My head just hurts a bit. My legs feel strained. My joints ache like all hell. My hands and feet feel like they've been victims to some sneak attack. But I'm alright.
Sneak attack? When? Where, I suppose?
Probably when I wasn't looking at the fight.
He was unable to explain it clearly to Beatrice, whose eyes were filled with concern. However, the source for the pain in his hands and legs was him hiding the wounds taken by either Amelia or Ram, having suffered those at the hands of Louis. And Suber did not mutter a single word about the weight of the injuries he was carrying for them. Because, for some reason, a person like that seemed to be cooler.
Just like this.
If Ram were able to keep using her abilities like this and keep up with Louis, they might manage to actually overcome gluttony, unlike how they had failed last time. Win against Louis and hurry to catch up to Julius, who was fighting Reed, or in worst case scenario, face the Titanic Scorpion in the shadow. Thinking that far, Subaru looked at the existence of the lights within his chest yet again. One was Julius, battling on a floor above the one Subaru and the others were on, and another was Meili, confronting the hordes of witch beasts from the balcony. Echidna and her group seemed to have safely evacuated to Tegeta. These were the ones whose positions could very well be felt by Subaru. However...
This one... Who is that?
At a point distanced away from them all, Subaru could feel the existence of a light at the same floor he was in, approaching from the direction opposite to him. That was the direction the dignified Reed had first appeared from in the previous loop. Wishing for it to not be Reed, Subaru confirmed the presence of certain confidence within him as he looked on with a modicum of hesitation. And...
Beatrice!
Minya! Once he pointed towards the other side of the corridor and raised a shout, Beatrice instantly came to notice the abnormality and widened her palm. At that very moment, shining purple crystals were born as the consequence of her chant. Floating in the air with terrifying sharp tips, they were fired like bullets from a gun the subsequent instant. They flew above the heads of Amelia, Ram, and Louis all, who were fighting in the aisle, going further beyond. And there, it collided with an attack which was aiming right for Amelia's back. As an excruciating sound of shattering glass echoed, a blinding white light broke through and exposed the white corridor to itself. Amidst the sparkles of the shattered ice and crystals, a shimmering red light was visible in between the darkness. As soon as he laid his eyes upon it, the pain in Subaru's heart multiplied several times. Once again, the threat repeated itself, further worsening the situation. However, at this point, the pain in his heart was not because of seeing that dot of red light. The red dot of light, and the faint light Subaru could sense within his chest, which showed him the position of his comrades, overlapped. And that could only mean one thing.
What does this mean? You...
Swinging its tail, which wielded a long and sharp needle, emerging from the blackness was the gigantic shadow, clad in an armor like black shell over its body, the form of the Titanic Scorpion. However, at this moment, the Scorpion's appearance held a totally different meaning for Subaru. For the existence which had revealed itself there was...
Is it you, Shala?
Facing a reality he did not want to face, accepting a truth he did not want to accept, Subaru called out in a voice mixed with rage and despair. Hearing that voice, the Scorpion, lacking a mouth with which to respond with words, lifted its enormous pincers aloft and clanked them, as if affirming his words. A clank echoed. And that's the chapter!
Wee!
Woo!
Good job, everybody.
Amazing.
I love that chapter.
What did you all thought about the chapter?
Shola.
Shola, why?
The Shola, the big scorpion.
Scorpion.
A big scorpion.
Why?
Who saw that coming?
Man,
I could never see this coming in all my life. Holy fuck!
Whoa. That was a good
Wow.
What a
chapter.
twist. I love the Corleone stuff. I just
Oh, it's so cool.
Real question is whether he's awakening a new power or he's just tweaking.
Both at the same time.
Why not both?
Why not both?
It's just an LSD trip.
Poor Subaru. More
Alas.
accurately, who saw it coming that hasn't read the web novel? That's real, Zash. That's real.
yeah.
Did you see it coming, Tealdi?
Well, I kind of knew from the stuff that we'd been doing, so I had an inkling.
Ah, damn.
So
That's fair.
Well, she was missing, so you know.
True.
Yeah.
She had been missing for a while. I haven't voiced my girl
every
in
single
forever.
time she's like not there.
Where's she at?
Random
No one has
Scorpion
ever seen
appears.
Shala and the Titanic Scorpion in the same room at the same time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
I can't believe she
No
just left
way.
Melee alone on the balcony.
Rip.
So rude.
How rude. If Melee's
Rude.
even alive at this point, they were
Yeah,
together.
Not again, not again.
Not again!
Yeah. Left her
She's probably
in
mauled to death.
pieces.
Quick things before we keep talking. Thank you, Tregan Films, for the dono. We appreciate it so much. Just to address something that you guys asked in the chat, yes, we do plan on returning to finish up Arc 2 and 3. They are finally getting translation, so we can work from there. I think there's about 15 new chapters for both Arc 2 and 3. So we're going to get back on that eventually. And Arc 4, yes. But however, we want to catch up with what's coming out currently, as that's going to do better and perform better for our channel. We will eventually cover all of ReZero over time. But considering it's already hard enough to get us all together for Arc 6, it's going to take us time. But thank you all for being excited and loving this as well. We have lots of content to do,
Well,
so we're
don't
going
we
to be here
already
for a
have
while.
everyone casted for like Arc 2 and 3. Like everyone's already. All
True,
the roles are already down.
but
Mhm.
don't
Other than,
you
like, the fucking old men.
you know how hard it is for us to show up twice a week to this? Well, okay, maybe not for you,
Yeah.
but like for me,
Ow!
you guys have been showing consistently. I have been struggling to make it here with illness or like random things popping up, and I can't say no to. Yeah, so like maybe we could add more streams per week, but I think I would need a different
Pretty rough.
space for that. We've had babies crying in the background, so apologies. That was our end. But I think I muted them in time. So, and they don't talk really, so you can't hear anything. So maybe one day we could do more. But once this can actually like stay like it's more feasible for all of us to be here more often, yeah. Because when we do our Arc 1 to 4 reads, it doesn't matter who reads for who. It's not the end of the world.
Look, my excitement is going to be literally Arcs 2 and 3 because, well, they're so fundamentally different in the web novel that I just can't help but want to know what the
true.
content is for that.
But think if we caught up
What
to
do you
Arc
mean?
9 and then each week or every time a chapter came out, we would meet up and be with Arc 9.
Oh, that would be
That's
amazing.
my goal
That'd be
currently.
cool.
We'll make
Maybe
it.
we'll get
We will
there
make it.
eventually.
We'll get there.
We gotta talk with our
We just
cancels.
have to have Tafe go on another like long hiatus for like a whole year. He has to do the Arc 6 hiatus.
Yeah, exactly.
Just disappear for a while, and everyone goes,
Disappear for-
well,
Where he
guys, what's happening to ReZero?
at?
Oh, we got more juicy content. Well, it'll be fine.
Yay! I love Arcs 1 to 4 because we don't have to edit them. Yay!
True.
Big fan. We're gonna talk with the council, figure out a plan for that. The managers had different opinions on what to do with Arc 7, and I've been cooking on it too. So we'll workshop it with the council and get back to you guys. But don't worry, it's coming, just not anytime soon. Let's get through Arc 6. We're so close. We. In fact, I think it's what 90 chapters for Arc 6.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're real close.
22.
22.
Deadass.
What?
Nani?
Deadass. We're almost there.
Nani the
We've
fuck?
almost made it.
Dead
And
ass,
then we're
almost
gonna
there.
have to do Arc 7.
Yay, Arc 7.
And
Oh
then we
my
have to
god.
decide whether to do Arc 7 live or not.
Oh!
That's it. There you go. That's what's on the nose. I'm honestly, considering how much of a headache it's been planning with 41 new cast members, Connor made a good point and was like, why would we live record Arc 7 when we could just do Arcs like 2 to 4? And at first I was like, no, fuck you, we're gonna do it. But now I'm
True.
like, you know what? No, that's cooking. That's a great idea. We could have everything
It'll-
pre-recorded.
It could work. I mean, as an editor, I mean, I don't mind whatever we'll do. I'm ready for it.
We
like-
should
As a
have.
mere lonely editor.
I know the
As the
one
backup
editor
editor?
who's excited.
I'm saying, I don't want that.
The one editor actually editing.
No, you guys are editing. You guys are doing a lot of the work. It's just the final edits.
As someone who does no editing, do whatever feels good, guys. You got this. Woo!
Yay!
As someone
believe in
who just shows up. And then
I
just
just
Yes.
show up and make voices happen.
Honestly, yeah, that's the goal. Fap Chap, thanks for subscribing. Welcome in. Yay!
Subscriber.
Subscriber. I haven't said anything for anyone in a while because I turned off the notifications. We got one. You guys ready for this next chapter?
Yes.
Oh,
Ooh,
wait.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am.
Oh no!
It's
Yes.
time to stand
Wow.
up. Me
Wait a
stand
minute.
up.
Common stand up.
I'm coming. Stand up.
Stand up.
Come on,
up.
Common.
Stand up. You're hero.
No. Hey,
No,
way.
not
I
hero.
need a hero.
I am someone's hero. Hi, Ram.
Rem loves everyone.
Wait, at that point,
You
shouldn't
the one who ate you?
Common be telling herself to stand up because Lie has the memories?
Oh yeah.
Say it, Lie. Say it.
Stand up, me! Stand up!
Get your act together. All right.
I don't want to stand up.
No!
Can make me.
Stand up! No!
No.
No.
All right.
No.
Chapter 68.
68.
Woo!
Can you all hear me okay from this position?
Yes.
Oh,
I
fantastic.
lied, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Mixed reviews. Fuck y'all.
This is why you're in the basement, Al.
One person is able to bring down the entire mood.
Drag it down to the basement with him.
Drag you
See,
down.
this is why they let me
No.
out of the basement.
We let you out for a hot minute.
I ate Greeny one too many times.
What? When did this happen?
All right. There is a. I should be good. I'm in a good spot. However, should I need to tap out, I may just be like first person. Yeah, I'm good. I'll be like
Thumbs
first
up.
person ready.
Don't
Take over
worry,
narration.
all of us are gonna be ready for it.
Beauty.
All of us simultaneously.
All at once. That's a crazy
It'll be a
rate.
battle royale and see which voice prevails.
It would just be a
Watch us all
5-minute
do it at the
laydown.
same time.
That would be crazy. Let's try it. Actually, let's try that before we start. Let's all read the first line. I want to see how it sounds. Ready?
Oh my god!
3.
Wait,
Oh
We gotta
god.
get Arc
fine.
6, Chapter 68 ready. Are y'all
Like-
ready? Ready?
like the
On
title.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, on go.
The
We all
title
read
or
the
the
title.
first-
The title. We read the title. Arc
Right,
6, Chapter
okay.
68. The Women of
Okay, okay,
Scorpius.
okay.
Go. After go, you can start reading. Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Arc 6.
Arc 6.
Chapter
Chapter
68. The
68.
Women of Scorpius.
Woman
The woman of
Okay.
Scorpius.
We're never doing that again.
That was horrible.
It's
Beautiful
just
word.
impossible to tie.
That was great. I don't know what you're talking about.
That was so good. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Ready.
Ready as can be.
Okay. Arc 6, Chapter 68. The Women of Scorpius. When he had first heard of Shala's name, it was not as if he had thought of it as nothing. It was not because he possessed some emotional attachment to the name Shala. It was because Subaru had memories of that word. Shala was the name of a star which glowed in the night sky Subaru was acquainted with. a term of meaning Scorpius. To think the true identity of one who took upon the name Scorpius would be the scorpion clad in all jet black shell, that answer was something truly straightforward and simple. So straightforward that one would actually grow suspicious of who chose that name. However, at present, the first candidate for the lack of sense was the one referred to as Master, Natsuki Subaru. The problem here was how unlikely it was that Subaru had gotten the chance to bestow her with that name, regardless of presence or absence of his memories, and how they had no leeway to confirm that right now. Before his eyes, the tag team of Amelia and Ram continued their fierce battle with the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony, Louis Arneb. Interposing in the space of that battlefield, in the interior of the aisle, the jet-black Titanic scorpion let out a fiendish sound by clanking its huge pincers, staring towards them with deep red compound eyes. The ominous huge pincers had evolved with purpose of slaughter, wielding such sharpness that gave rise to the conjecture that they possessed enough strength to easily cleave bones and internal organs of the human body alike with a single clank of its edges. Red compound eyes, 2 ominous gigantic pincers, multiple legs supporting its large frame, a shell boasting the strength of armor of iron. All of them were symbols of refinement for the purpose of destruction and violence. And in truth, its fighting strength did not contradict the sense of ferocity in its outer appearance let off. Time and time again throughout this conflict, throughout what had been seen in the world until now, Subaru had confirmed with his very eyes. Rather, he himself had experienced that personally in his own flesh. The moment that realization spouted within him, certain happenings of a previous loop appeared before Subaru. Having driven away the brutal attack of the Titanic scorpion, the moment they thought they had somehow managed to make it withdraw temporarily, Subaru and the others had been bathed by an explosion caused by the parting gift of that evil beast, resulting in Beatrice and Echidna both being deprived of their lives. The intolerable rage he felt back then was something that he was incapable of forgetting. The wrath he embraced directed resentment towards the powerlessness of his own self, and at the same time, he could not suppress the rage he felt towards the Titanic scorpion who had been behind that slaughter. The subject of that wrath, the Titanic scorpion, its true identity had been one who was supposedly his comrade, Shala. Now they had knew that, what occupied Subaru's heart was merely a violent maelstrom of emotion with nowhere to go, alongside questions. Why had Shala taken the form of Titanic Scorpion? Why was Shala attacking Subaru and the others and trying to kill them? Why did Shala reveal her true nature at this stage of the game and was interrupting the battle? Why?
Subaru, calm down, in fact. First, take deep breaths, I suppose.
Subaru was tormented by such thoughts after greeting such shocking truths. The one to call Subaru's name softly as he remained in that state and restored him back to sanity was Beatrice standing next to him. With his hand grasped in her tiny palm, Subaru noticed for the first time that he'd forgotten to even breathe. Abiding by her command, Subaru slowly inhaled deeply and exhaled, and...
That's fine, in fact. Is it true that that thing is Shala, I suppose?
At Beatrice's question once again, Subaru affirmed to himself. Corleones, though his authority a characteristic unique to him, had just blossomed within him, and he had only recently managed to grasp on it. It conveyed the whereabouts of his comrades to Subaru and took over the inferiorities of his physical form of allies. That alone was unquestionable. Henceforth, Subaru could vaguely catch on to the locations of all his comrades within the tower. Amelia, Ram, Beatrice, Julius, Meili, and Echidna. And that faint, warm sensation he could feel from those comrades of his, he could feel the same from the Titanic Scorpion. If the relative positions from his comrades within the towers were to be considered, no other candidate came to mind. Henceforth, that Titanic Scorpion was unmistakably...
It's Shala for sure. I don't know why, but she's turned into a huge scorpion.
It's true that she was a girl whose true identity was uncertain in the first place, in fact. That true identity being that of a slightly big bug isn't even worthy of astonishment, I suppose.
That's quite the amazing courage you have there.
Asserting the scorpion to be a mere bug, Beatrice warded it off, not with the ability to comprehend, but the ability to respond to the call, coiling his tongue at the approach of coping with the situation. Subaru at that moment glared at the titanic scorpion for once. Red compound eyes with aim of gaze unknown, stabbed by the scowl coming from the opposite direction.
How about you give some answers? Your true identity has been uncovered already, you bastard! Making excuses or flicking your tongue before the prey. There must be something you have to do.
When he raised his harsh voice, he felt his headache from the heavy atmosphere and his weakened physical state. However, Subaru ignored that pain and sought the response from the titanic scorpion. However, the titanic scorpion, maintaining its outward appearance which suggested an inability of will and communication, never even once tried to respond.
Are you not going to make a single excuse?
Murmuring powerlessly, Subaru thought while fighting his urge to vomit. As per the memories he had recalled earlier, Subaru had been made to taste hardships time and time again by this titanic scorpion. With unruly naivety, the one who had continued to show her courtesy of affection to Subaru without even attempting to conceal it, Shala, having been cheated by her, deceived by her, that truth piercingly stabbed through his chest. How her smile, her words, her attitude, anything and everything had been made up fakes. How she had deceived Subaru and the others, turning out to be a traitor.
No.
Traitor, sadly expressing that notion. Subaru stiffened his cheeks with a dicey sense of unease. Shala betrayed them. That thought itself was a conclusion which could not be helped, considering the existing situation. However, whatever everything relating to Shala had truly been fiction or not, had room for argument. Of course, it was plausible that all of Shala's words and deeds until now had been acting, that her smile, bonding, anything and everything had been naught but swindles for deceiving them. It was plausible, but for what? Had she intended to crawl into Subaru and the rest trust through her acting, her intentions would pose as an opponent to Subaru and the rest? However, had Shala aimed for that, she must have obtained chances to chop off their sleeping heads time and time again, even without having to do something like diving into battles at this stage of the game. And it was precisely that, while she crawled into gaining such deep trust from Subaru and the others, she must have had infinite chances to slowly and secretly position them as well. Having missed those chances, why had she only disclosed her betrayal now? Such a thing could never be rational in any way. Going out of her way and putting up a dubious pretense, then becoming a comrade for Subaru and the others. What could the point of that be? Listening to Subaru's requests, and even cooperating in stopping melee, displaying hyper magic against hordes of witch beasts from the balcony, it was unknown what meaning all that held. None of it made any sense, did it not?
The reason why I ended up thinking that, is it because I got mesmerized by seeing her fair legs and those hot pants of hers?
If your thoughts on her are growing softer because of that, then Shala's plan hasn't been discarded completely, in fact.
Right. My feelings are aligned with Amelia-chan.
Just when they felt unison discomfort towards Shala's conduct, he suddenly had his arms pulled by Beatrice. It was not an objection, but an action of overbearing extrication. Above Subaru's head, who stumbled a couple steps forward to stopping himself from falling, a white corona zipped by. He survived by a hair.
It seems there's no time to sit and chatter, I suppose.
While saying that, raising the hand opposite to the one grasping Subaru's own, Beatrice's environs gleamed faintly. Along the violet light they were clad in, what emerged were sharpened pointed tips, in large numbers. As if enclosing Subaru and Beatrice, the violet arrows unfolded, facing the titanic scorpion directly, and were shot. At that moment, the white corona came flying towards them as well, Clashing with the violet arrows, Light performed a boisterous dance.
Duck, in fact! It won't be good if you receive a direct hit, in fact!
The glittering violet light raged on with a sound of shattering glass beautifully chained through the aisle. On the other side of the spectacle, there were glitterers seemingly grilled in his eyes. The flash fired by the gigantic scorpion. No, by the sharp stinger, had been established to take away Subaru's life without mercy. That single needle advancing with the intent to kill was warded off, repelled, brushed aside by the hundreds of arrows stemming from the magic Beatrice had woven for protection. However, the consumption of resources had been overwhelming.
Not good, in fact. At this rate, our mana will be exhausted in no time, I suppose.
What will happen if it's exhausted?
Betty and Subaru will get pierced through by that single needle together, in fact.
Being together aside, he cannot come to accept that circumstance. Against the onslaught of attacks, Beatrice's remaining strength could not last for long. That was what she had reported herself, with their circumstances continuing to deteriorate. There was a need to somehow overcome the situation before they were crushed. And, at this moment, immediately after, Subaru gritted his teeth due to the impending sense of crisis. Swishing that right above someone's head is dangerous, you know. The sound of several bells chimed potently, and a large rock of ice energetically struck the shells of the titanic scorpion. A hammering sound echoed throughout the passage. Surprise apparently reflected the emotionless compound eyes of the scorpion. The one who had managed to draw out that reaction was the one who had created the wall of ice in the aisle, and subsequently kicked it, decisively plunging the room into a bosom of the scorpion, Amelia. Her silver hair fluttering, leaping upon the scorpion with magnificence. Holy crap, I can't fucking read today. Sorry, everybody. So sorry. Restarting, removing my mic up, getting closer because I can't read. Okay, here we go. So sorry. Her silver hair fluttering, leaping upon the scorpion with magnificence, she wielded a long sword of ice. Targeting Subaru and Beatrice? Bullying the weak shows you are a coward. With the slash of the sword of the frost capable of cutting down anything with a single swing, she brushed away the large pincers, and the titanic scorpion made a speedy withdrawal using its multiple legs, wriggling like a worm. However, Amelia pursued the retreating large build and thus commenced a three-dimensional battle between the beauty and the scorpion within the cramped aisle. Yeah! Ah! A long sword, twin swords, a lance, a large hammer, hence given shape, were smashed, giving rise to a light report, and the falling glittering ice shards fluttered down around the gracefully dancing Amelia. The potent pincers of the titanic scorpion, the strength they had was their highlight, as they easily stopped the blow of their enemy by shattering their weapons. Major cutting strength concealed in them, however, that destruction of weapons could not work on Amelia. Amelia's ice brand arts was the ability capable of creating countless weapons through her magical power. The disposable weapons of ice were no greater than trifling articles to Amelia. No matter how many times they were to be smashed, shattered, neither were any concern to Amelia. Hee-yah! The pincers and tail stingers waved about Amelia, dodging them, launched a picket of ice floating midair. It collided head-on with the white luster shot by the scorpion, resulting in light scattering across. That was the overwhelming battle of offense and defense of the two, one human and one inhuman. What was worth admiring was Amelia's sense against the enemy, who required being dealt with in a way different from what one used to be against. Having jumped in without any hesitation whatsoever and continuing hanging on. For Amelia, who readily took up upon the battle style of instinct, the form and shape of the enemy were not an absolute article. It was not the accumulation of strict disciplining, but the sense for combat abundant within her body that told her of the enemy. Henceforth, the battle between Amelia and the titanic scorpion was taking alternately favorable and unfavorable terms, giving rise to a stalemate. However, with Amelia fighting the titanic scorpion, Another ongoing battle was unable to avoid remaining changed. Even if that battle had commenced with an attack by both of them at the same time, the exchange of blows with the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony, with Louis Arnab, had been left to Ram alone.
Ram!
I can hear you. There's no need to shout every second. Shut up, as it dampens my spirit.
Upon Subaru's voice, who had been fearful regarding her, she responded with an outrageously cruel reply. Ram confronted Louis in the middle of the aisle all by herself, with her back turned to where Subaru was at. She clashed head-on with the large build exerting tremendous pressure. Of course, with Amelia's departure, the battle had taken a turn for the worse. Subaru was able to see that, but...
Nisama's just so harsh. So harsh.
With a smile glued to his face, the large man shaking his head about soared backwards. Having taken an elbow strike to the face, his retreat was to disperse its impact. Faced with the large build doing so, Ram sharply gyrated her body and commenced a resolute offense, extremely close quarters with the expert who had named itself the Fist King. The unarmed martial arts Louis was using what had been endowed with immeasurable bloodshed, befitting the name of Fist King. However, through merely her aberrant sense, Ram was somehow overpowering those fighting techniques which had been used to the extremities. Even now, she lunged for a fair fist of hers, firing it into the median line of the enemy mercilessly.
How amazing. So amazing. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it too amazing? Nisama is just too strong, much more than what we knew. What's this? What's this? Why are you able to move so well?
Don't talk as if you know anything. Kindly keep quiet and die.
Bathing in the vehement impact, passing his comment while somewhat writhing in pain, was Louis. By now Louis had gotten his right arm broken. That one arm had been nullified. In that state, even in the body of a man who had mastered unarmed combat, it would be impossible to bring out those capabilities. The experience points of the martial arts cultivated within the Fist King amounted not in face of Ram, who had been released from her inferior physical form. The inborn natural capabilities possessed by Ram, that she was capable of overwhelming her enemies to such an extent. However, as Ram continued to put up a tough fight, the harder she fought, the welling up of nausea, limitless rise in temperature, within his head, the seemingly cursing noise of gongs being struck buzzed in his ears, accompanied by a headache. Whilst experiencing this, Subaru fought against getting distracted and letting his guard down. This was the horrendous state that Ram could feel and experience on a regular basis. It was now mercilessly scraping off of Subaru's mind and body with rasp. Whether it was possible to get used to it or not, the chills continued getting more and more intense with each passing second, and as Ram's voltage rose, their intensity rose accordingly as well. However, that nausea, that headache, that sense of fatigue, Subaru patiently endured them by clenching his molars. Thanks to his authority, he could take on Ram's suffering and grant her strength to fight. At this point, the recoil of Subaru having to suffer was compensation he must accept and pay. His entire body felt heavy. His limbs were creaking, his ears were hurting due to the noise. His torn thighs were aching. His struck and damaged abdomen were screaming in agony, his rate of breathing and rising because of the depletion of all his strength. His vision flickered in red and white. He should simply bluff and show that it was too much, was of no concern.
Truly a fool.
And, glancing towards Subaru, who had bent down behind Beatrice, Ram's lips seemingly faintly muttered something. However, the authority was only capable of taking on the burden. It could not convey everything regarding the partner. The lightly whispered words went unheard, and the only result bore was Subaru furrowing his eyebrows. However,
Kindly collapse already. If you drag this on for too long, the ones charged with our household chores will all faint.
How cold, so cold. Isn't it cold? Because it is so cold. Nisama, Nisama, let's play more. Let's have fun. Even though we're sisters, we've never even once engaged in a bout like this, haven't we?
Then your wish shall be granted.
Narrowing her cold eyes, Ram struck the side of the frolicking Louis's face with her palm. At the same time, as if in flow, she elbowed the same size, then rotated swiftly while drilling countless blows into the entirety of Louis's body. Louis turned completely on the defensive, delivering an upwards blow into his jaw with the palm directly underneath it. Ram grabbed her opponent's collar and forcefully bashed his face onto the wall beside them, and thereafter drove her lovely knees into his head. With his face caught between the bare wall and the knee, Louis had his nose crushed as he collapsed, bleeding. Towards Louis's naked nape, Ram turned her palm relentlessly. Within that palm was a whirling, extremely minute blade of wind. However, it should not be underestimated due to its size. The swirl of the wind blade formed in her palm contained enough potency to gouge out any vitals of the body. Grand destruction was unneeded. A minimal attack to merely gouge out the vitals of the body and slay the enemy. Were it a neck to take, regardless of how thick the neck, of even the Fist King maybe, he would be still equally helpless. And Ram's attack settled the battle.
Jeez, always doing things as you please when someone's sleeping. This is why the youngest little sisters can't be selfish. As an elder sibling yourself, Nisama must also agree, right?
The moment when the strike was trained at the nape, the Fist King's form changed, and Ram's palm missed its aim. The moment initially afterwards, what seized Ram's petite torso in the front was a brutal backward kick from someone with a strikingly short height. Louis. No, from Lei Batankaitos.
Kawari?
That's not it! It wasn't something we were aiming for, and then did it for anything by sheer chance. The moment we opened our eyes, Little Sister was in an unfavorable position, that's all. Oh, Nissan can understand, right? The feeling when your bro's so sad. The feeling when your bro's so bad at the game you're being played that you can't stand it and end up taking away the controller.
Languidly stretching out his tongue, Lei, a vicious actor of dark brown hair, smiled at Subaru. With that evil smile of Lei's, Ram, who had received the fierce kick directly in her guts, had been pushed backwards to an immense distance, and she distorted her cheeks and expression at that singular counterattack, then inhaling a rough and large breath. At the same time, Subaru looked over at the cause of what stopped her in her tracks through the authority and... Burning pain sprung forth from his abdomen, its heat so scorching it was unbearable. Thus Subaru let out a scream. He was tormented by that extreme pain. It seemed as if his guts had been stirred and damaged with a blazing hot rod of iron, his field of vision whitening due to the shock. He understood that his internal organs within were screeching all in unison.
Ah, just as we thought. So it was thanks to Onisan that Nesama, from whom it should be impossible to move, was able to move. Jeez, Nesama. In the time your little sister wasn't there, you deepened your relationship with the one your little sister had feelings for.
Blurting out nonsense while looking at Subaru screaming, Lei struck the floor with his heel. At his feet, peeking out from his heel, was a hidden blade of short length. Its sharp tip had been soaked with Ram's blood. She had been stabbed. Subaru had taken up the pain and was now suffering with it. Or perhaps, given the scorching heat, the blade may have been varnished with poison or something. His body temperature degraded at such a vigor it made him shiver, and immense sweat started to flow all over his body.
Subaru!
Barasu, kindly stop.
Beatrice was astonished upon Subaru's screech, and Ram shouted, seemingly having made sense of the situation. Having been stabbed, the wound in her abdomen was letting out massive amounts of blood, originating from the guts. It was natural to feel malaise, if by the blood loss, but it still had no effect on movement, as the pain was being relieved. However, Subaru desperately shook his head. He could not return this agony to Ram. The moment he returned it, Ram would be rendered immobile. It was an obvious flow. It was best if the pain settled upon Subaru. If it were not to be done, everyone would still be able to continue without losing. They could fight. He must assist those who were fighting.
What? Yes.
Beatrice-sama, kindly take Barasu and stand back. He is only an obstruction.
Because of Subaru's condition, his voice seeming like incoherent murmuring, Ram prompted her quick judgment. She rolled the tunic she had taken off around her wound on the guts, thus trying to stop the bleeding, and on top of that, decide what to continue with the battle. In exchange for that, she urged Beatrice to have Subaru withdraw from the same place. Beatrice abided by Ram's judgment and pulled Subaru's sleeve.
Subaru, it's just as Ram says, I suppose. For now, get away from this place, and...
That won't do. If I get away from here...
Shaking his head towards Beatrice, who was pulling his sleeve, Subaru attempted to remain in this place. If he were to get away from this theater right now, the effect of Corleonis may get cut off, and the situation of the battle Ram was managing would break down straight away. If that happened, then what would be the point of having Subaru withdraw from here?
Emilia-sama, come over here at once.
I get it. Looking at Subaru attempting to remain in that place, Ram called upon Amelia. At that call, Amelia, who had been concentrating her battle on the Titanic Scorpion, flew a long distance backwards. The Titanic Scorpion tried to go after her, but that pursuit was hindered by a humongous ice wall which seemingly covered the isle. Of course, the ice wall would not stand more than a single second faced against the giant scorpion's pincers. But that single second was sufficient for Amelia's retreat. And there...
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Just a second, just a second, just a second! Even if you come back with such energy, did you think we'll just say, is that so, and overlook you? Keep quiet. Whoops!
Lai, slurping on his tongue, swung his dagger towards retreating Amelia's back. Ram, closing in unnoticed with a low stance, brushed it away splendidly by sweeping him with her legs. And Amelia flew over Lay's head, the latter lying on his back, as if jumping over a hurdle. The result of that, as Lai stood in the aisle.
Well, aren't you doing it?
The gigantic scorpion, trying to pursue Amelia, viciously clashed with Lay, who had been left alone in the battle theater. Though the compound eyes of the Titanic Scorpion were originally turned towards Subaru, even still, there was no way it could simply ignore the one standing in between an obstruction without acting towards him. The pincers of the Titanic Scorpion swung, and Lay warded them off with a miraculous swordsmanship using his daggers. Though the brittle blades seemed that they would get shattered easily by a single strike, Lay's ability was able to do that extremely easily. With that, glancing backwards, seeing as how the enemy coiled with the enemy.
Emilia-sama, take Barasu.
Leave it to me. Hearing Ram shout as she dashed towards the aisle, Amelia held the crouching Subaru in her arms like a baby. Shouldered by Amelia's slender arms, Subaru gave a surprised voice, saying, "Whoa! I'm sorry. Stay put for a second, okay?"
Being carried by a girl. My Kyoji's hurt.
There's no way there's any pride even left to be hurt at this point. Kindly stay put and let yourself be treated like luggage.
Amelia's speed did not decrease even slightly whilst shouldering Subaru, who had blurted such thoughtless comments. Behind them unfolded the clash between Lei and the gigantic scorpion, and regardless of what the conclusion of it should become, the two would surely be obstructing each other's way for some time for the moment. With that being said,
Shala must be aiming for Subaru, in fact. If you take your eyes off it and lose sight of where it may come from, it'll be dangerous, I suppose.
That is the problem, Beatrice-sama. Is that thing really Shala?
running alongside Amelia, who was shouldering Subaru, Ram and Beatrice exchanged thoughts on the situation. Ram's question was a demand for confirmation of the gigantic scorpion's identity, which Subaru was assured of. Hearing that, Beatrice gave a sidelong glance at Subaru and nodded.
That's what Subaru believes, in fact. That attack of firing light also matches up, I suppose.
The attack seen at the balcony, at the time we left the sand dunes, is it?
Hearing Beatrice's analysis, Ram furrowed her eyebrows. She then glanced towards Subaru as he was carried in Amelia's arms, striking his forehead.
Barsu, whatever you're doing, undo it. At this rate...
Let me guess. I won't be able to enjoy it. I'll say this. I'm a man, you know. Enduring and being patient is the special right of us men.
Quite a thing to say, being in such a tattered state and being carried by Amelia-sama.
At Ram's words, he was unable to voice even an ugh properly. The truth was, due to the effect taking over Ram's inferior physical form, even breathing languidly was painful for him. The burden increased each passing second, and the exhaustion felt as if it were some curse that would eat away at his life. At the strong act being put up by Subaru, Amelia whispered, "As I thought. Subaru, are you doing something? Midway through, my body also became really light, and the parts where I was damaged and wounded didn't hurt either. Beatrice, if you're having Subaru push himself..."
It's not Betty, in fact. Subaru was doing this himself. Through an authority, I suppose. Even Betty wants to stop him if he can be stopped, in fact.
Authority? Towards Amelia, who had been offered her frank advice, Beatrice denied her involvement and made an astringent face. Amelia and Ram furrowed their eyebrows together in response to what she had pronounced. Calling it an authority, Beatrice gave the impression that she had an inkling about the power Subaru was using.
Beatrice-sama, what would be an authority?
Something like the backwards compatibility of a divine protection, I suppose. Subaru's pushing himself quite a bit and using it, in fact. That is the cause behind Amelia and Ram's states as well, I suppose.
Hearing that, Amelia inhaled while Ram sharpened her gaze. Though she was physically supposed to be fine, what dwelled in Ram's crimson eyes were the powerful rage. With such eyes, she glared at Subaru.
Taking up Ram's burden as you see please. As you please. When did you become so admirable?
My bad. I'm a gentleman. That's why I end up smartly taking the girl's luggage.
And as a result of that, you'd become a girl's luggage in return. It can be said countless times, you've got it backwards.
Ram's continued sigh somewhat felt as she had given up on Subaru's attitude. She must have understood as well that Subaru had no intentions of returning that burden. Honestly speaking, possessing it forever would be tiresome. But even so, at least while they were in the middle of a conflict.
That's it.
Thinking that far, at last, Subaru finally turned his consciousness towards not the internal organs within the depth of his abdomen, but something else. His consciousness passed through the body that was his self, and largely spread out to the scope perceivable to him. And grasping onto Corleonis, he connected the conditions of positions to his comrades. without any change in Taigeta were Echidna and Rem, along with Patrash. Slightly away from them was Gion at the lower floor. And then...
I knew it!
I knew it. What did you know?
Melee is obstructing the witch beast from the balcony. Even now.
Though faintly distant, the flickering, blurry light of the balcony on the fourth wall was Melee. Though the situation that was Shala had made herself absent, she was mobilizing her own strength to deal with the large hordes of witch beasts. He held the deepest admiration for the strenuous effort she was making, and he was grateful as well.
Meaning that girl wasn't attacked by Shala, in fact.
Exactly.
Subaru affirmed what Beatrice had stated, the latter on top of Amelia's shoulders. The moment immediately after, the battle had broken out, in each of their respective places. Subaru had left the dealing of the witch beasts advancing towards the watchtower of the duo of Melee and Shala. Thereafter, with Shala making her appearance in the form of the Titanic Scorpion to attack Subaru and the rest. Logically, Melee's well-being, who was supposed to be with her, became a matter of concern. But Subaru could feel her safety, so in other words...
Shala turned into that after parting with Melee. At any rate, Shala hasn't laid a finger on Melee.
How relevant was that to the present situation? He could not think about that with an exhausted mind. On top of that, even if they continued running at this rate... We need to solve the problems popping up. Otherwise, we'll just get cornered no matter how much we run. With a shout similar to a cry, Amelia perfectly expressed the present condition to Subaru and the others. The first of the 5 problems, the hordes of witch beasts, as destined for Melee, the gigantic scorpion and Gluttony were still attempting to devour each other, and he felt no signs of the arrival of the jet black shadow. However, Reed Estrella, equipped with violence akin to the absurd iron hammer of the divine, was...
Please stop.
Huh? Ram, who was running and leading the vanguard, stretched her hand toward the rear and halted Amelia and the rest. In front of them, momentarily, stopped the group of 3. A piercing shockwave flew by, flowing at an instant. The shockwave diagonally bisected the aisle, seemingly made of stone, creating an entrapment of rubble and smoke. Seeing the destruction of the watchtower, which had professed itself to be indestructible, taking into account Subaru's memories, this would be the 3rd time? But if being crushed by the shadow was to be kept out of the picture, this would be the 1st. And the true identity of the destruction was...
Miss Ram, along with Amelia-sama and Beatrice-sama, is it?
Julius!
Evading the eruption of smoke, flying backwards with a great distance, was a figure with a white outfit contaminated by blood and dust. The good-looking man, Julius Jaculius. Stepping onto that place and dispersing the shockwave, he quickly turned his yellow eyes backwards and glanced at the dark color eyes of Subaru atop Amelia's shoulders.
Though I believe it has only been a few minutes since we parted ways, it seems you were damaged quite harshly, have you not?
Shut up! For once, I'm unhurt.
I do not see the cold sweat of an unhurt human, though.
Julius closed a single eye at Subaru, the latter with a pallid face, blurting rough words amidst faint breaths. Even he, who possessed good judgment, had not been able to understand the effects of the authority of Corleones as expected. And unfortunately, there no longer remained any time to calm down the converse about it.
I'm begging you. Please say you slashed Reed's throat.
Reporting what differs from reality is an extraordinarily difficult choice as a knight.
That already makes for the answer, I suppose.
Subaru's wish, which seemed to be more like a prayer, had been implicitly repudiated by the excessive serious response. While feeling his hope turn into despair, Subaru made a bitter expression. He felt his earbuds hurt, due to the sound of Zori stepping firmly upon the wall's fragments.
So you're greeting all the women you've gathered in here, you prick. It was just starting to get a bit boring after walking around freely, so are you all gonna be my appointments, eh?
the worst development.
Following Julius, the one who showed his form through the smoke was a tall man with long red hair, casually dressed on only a single side. His figure built with masculinity, red violence, Reed Estrella. In the form of Reed boldly stepping into the aisle of the 4th floor, and not the 2nd floor, Ram commended with a low voice. With identical astonishment, Amelia let out a, "Ew," with a quivering voice. "Why are you on this floor? Aren't you supposed to be unable to leave that place?"
Don't you be making me laugh, smoking honey. I live where I want to live, slash down those who I want to slash down, and sleep with women I want to sleep with, as if I'll be abiding by the customs of others.
Just how cheap is this guy, in fact?
Beatrice, while trembling with fear, smacked her lips at Reed's self-centered philosophy. However, it was the fact that Reed hadn't appeared in this place, standing in the way of Subaru and the others, obstructing them. With this, they had Reed at the front gate, and Gluttony and this gigantic scorpion at the back gate. This was a massive tribulation.
Though it may just be useless to just talk. Right now, everything happening in the tower is...
It's becoming quite the ruckus, but it don't concern me. If the ones that gotten in my way, well, I'll just slash them down. Or if they'll be open in my way, then I won't kill them at the least. Whoopsie, well, those taking part of the examination gotta be a special case. Oh, it still ain't different from picking a fight with me.
Then...
Oi, small fry, don't you be saying any boring shit now.
Subaru tried somehow to extract information out of Reed by twisting his words. An aberrant fighting spirit emanated from Reed, making him shut his trap. As if an electric shock, a feeling of oppression which caused physical numbness jolted Subaru. No, not only Subaru, but all 4 standing in the aisle. Otherwise, it may have jolted the entire tower itself. They had merely brought the displeasure of the lone man. So was this merely a sense of intimidation he let off? In the Pleiades watchtower, there were threats aside from this powerful man.
A way to deal with one of the gluttonies, and with that shadow still hasn't been found either.
Subaru, regarding that, I bear good news and bad news from my side.
Towards Subaru murmuring so frailly, Julius prepared to use the knight's words. At his commencements with words as those from an overseas drama, Subaru stiffened his cheeks. Good news and bad news. Though it was an expression common in literary works, hearing those words in reality gave this a terrible, heart-rendering feeling. Gulping down saliva for once, Subaru affirmed the words good news and bad news with his mouth.
Then say the good news first.
Regarding the Synarch Bishop of Gluttony nowhere to be seen whom you are getting anxious about, there is no need to be on the lookout for him, I can assure you regarding that.
Huh? I don't know on what basis you're saying that, but it's certainly good news. Then, what's the bad news?
Whether he had found a strategy to beat him, or whether he had gotten his hands on proof of him having not arrived in the first place, or having him exited this tower, Subaru raised a single eyebrow in response to what Julius had pointed out. If there was to be only one Synarchbishop of Gluttony, then certainly the problems they had to deal with were reduced by one. If the cards in their hands were the cards in the hands of the opponent to be seen and compared, Subaru and his body in a horribly bad state considered what would be the ideal course of action. Before Subaru, Julius softly exhaled and continued.
The Synarch Bishop of Gluttony, Roy Alfard, is over there.
Huh?
With an earnest tone, Julius turned the leading edge on his knight's sword towards the front. What stood ahead of the pointing tip was a knight's sword, was only a great man with the smile of a ferocious shark. It could not mean anything else. A man with the smile of a shark was standing there. However, Julius continued his words as Subaru and the others stood stunned.
The one before our eyes, the first generation sword saint, Rita Estrella. He is Roy Alfard.
Yay!
Woo!
Al, if I had
You made it.
realized that Reed only had 3 fucking lines, I would have made you the fucking narrator. Halfway
Very
through,
end.
that
Yeah.
crash out was specifically for that. Everyone was like, hey, we should make Al do the narration. That's not fair with him going back and forth from the Reed voice. I was like, that's so fair. 3 fucking lines?
You guys didn't check?
Look, I didn't look at the chapter.
I didn't either.
I thought he had more. I
Oh my
genuinely thought he had
I
more.
thought so too.
This is why you
Oh
gotta
my God.
control F.
I
Oh,
know.
we got
I
one.
was the only one who checked. I saw 4 before and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I guess.
Al.
Okay.
If you ever notice that,
Next
and
time
you
fight
see only
harder.
4 lines, you say, Kyle's, shut the fuck up, give me more. And I go,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
I can give you more.
yeah.
Holy
You know that crash out will be
Later,
clipped.
more lines,
Yeah,
please.
okay.
Flippable.
I want you all to know that crash out came because if I had to say Titanic Scorpion one more fucking time, that does not make sense. That does not make grammatical sense.
Panic.
Yeah.
Titanic
Like,
Scorpion.
the 2 top
Titanic.
phrases of
Titanic
these chapters
Scorpion.
were Titanic Scorpion
Take a fucking
and,
shot.
and
And interim Louis.
Interim
Yeah,
Louis was
exactly.
so
Interim
stupid.
Interim Louis and Titanic Scorpion. I was like, what the fuck?
I'm
Interim
sorry,
Louis.
which call?
Interim Louis.
I'm so sorry, which call?
I feel so bad
can't.
for Kyle.
It's just like I need to make sure that they know that Louis isn't in Louis's body, so I can say he
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Oh my god. The back and forth of the pronouns was crazy.
Yeah.
That was really. I was listening, going, "Holy fuck, man!"
I didn't
Yeah,
have
that
to
was,
crash out, but I had a couple
cra-
of wibble wobbles a few times in there.
I definitely
I kept
felt
it up
Kyle's
right now.
getting more and more angry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah.
time Titanic Scorpion came out, I just got a little bit angrier.
It's
okay.
Yeah,
Build.
the Titanic Scorpion in the sky, and then
I'm
I
so
almost
sorry.
first spoke in the Mario voice. I almost accidentally spoke it instead.
That would have been so
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
I was like
Unfortunate.
getting ready to say the line, and I was like, "Wait, no, pause, hold on, I gotta hold myself here. That's not what he's
No.
supposed to sound like."
Holy fuck.
You should just let it
Wait,
go.
You
Let it
can't
rip.
Wait, Al.
Like, no.
Al, you should read one right now as the Mario voice.
Yeah,
One of
do
his
it.
lines. It'd be funny.
Yeah, go do
The
it.
first line? Okay.
Or any,
So you're
whichever.
a prick. No,
Any
no,
of 'em.
You can't hear you, prick. It was just starting to get a bit bored after walking around freely. So y'all are gonna be opponents, eh?
Oh man.
You should have
Mario
narrated
was
it.
I'm extremely immersed.
It don't concern me. If
That
the ones
is
that
so
are getting in my
immersive.
way, then I'll smash them down. Or if they'll be open in my way, then I won't kill them at least. Whoopsie, well, those taking part in the examination gotta be a special case. Though that ain't David, they're begging a fight with me.
Guys, I don't think I want to eat this one.
I don't want to eat this one. I know I'm
Don't
called.
you give it to me.
I know I'm called trash eating,
Hey,
but
don't you be
no.
making me laugh, smoking hottie. Oh God, Mario saying smoking hottie. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Oh
Teacher,
no.
you're looking like a bit of a smoking hottie right now.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no!
mamma mia.
Bowser's out. I can't deal with this shit.
Mario, you can't be saying that sort of stupid stuff, Mario. Mario, you can't be calling women smoking hotties, Mario. That will get us cancelled, Mario. Nintendo will come and kill us, Mario.
Nintendo has their lawyers on the leash.
Mario, Mario, you can't be cursing, Mario.
They're
Fuck you,
barking.
Luigi.
Fuck you.
Oh my god, that was so. I
someone
got a
make a note
genuine
down.
question.
Huh?
How'd I do?
You did great.
Good,
Great.
That
yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
Better than
Someone's-
Mario Reed.
Yeah.
No. Mario Reed is top tier. We'll replace original Reed with Mario Reed.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, imagine that.
Make him
That'd be the most
fucking
entertaining
Italian
chapter.
instead.
We just need like
Ah.
a cursed chapter to read as like a present. It's not really
Ah,
a present, but
Yeah.
Arc 2,
Everyone just
chapter
chooses
1.
their most outrageous voice.
oh my god. I'd just be Capella the
What?
whole time.
Ooh,
Oh,
don't throw up
God.
again.
I have food in me this time.
Okay.
Food and no tea. Key things.
Ah.
Mario,
Big
read lust if.
Zero. Butterfly
Oh
dream.
my
Whoa, what?
god.
Excellent choice.
Oh.
Great job, Zash. By the way,
Oh
for
my
lust
God.
if, it's
Yeah,
still being written.
I just said, I literally just started saying Zero. Butterfly dream as you were reading that.
Imagine. Can you do the announcement for lust if? Is that'd be great?
Yeah.
They can do a whole commercial.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my
Hello,
god,
everybody.
that would be.
Welcome to the greatest if story of all of ReZero. I'm sure that you've seen on YouTube and TikTok of all these. Oh, here's the greedy. Oh, here's the pride. Oh, it's so dark and edgy. Oh, it's so cool. But no. Here is the greatest if story that ReZero has to offer. It's Lust If, the butterfly dream, and we have rewritten it so it doesn't have, touching kids. But it's all okay because we added the Julius route. You can actually now be reading.
You just hear all the girls like moan collectively at the very end to introduce.
Oh my god.
I'm seeing myself out. This is
I don't know where
cursed.
that sound came from.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We needed this
Okay.
all
Well.
stream.
Woo!
We just had to blow off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Someone
think
make it
before
now.
we call it,
Never.
what did you guys think of the chapter? Let's
Greeny
get
bringing
back
it
to
back.
Oh yeah. We did do
TLDR.
stuff.
The
Corleones.
Titanic Scorpion.
Titanic Scorpion. I'm gonna kill myself.
Titanic
Myself one more
Scorpion.
Titanic Scorpion.
As if that's my
Interim
13th.
What was the other
Louis.
one?
Interim Louis.
Interim Louis.
Interim Louis.
Roy is
Interim
here.
Louis versus Titanic Scorpion. Roy is here. Roy
Yeah.
got he got got.
He got.
God.
Apparently,
Oh,
apparently
Roy.
Luke is Roy or whatever that fucking means.
I
What a-
am thou.
no
thou
idea.
art I. Thou art Roy.
No,
Arnett.
I don't
Move on.
want this relationship.
I don't want this.
I don't want.
No.
This is not the connection I needed.
I'm genuinely curious. What would have happened if Subaru asked, "What's the bad news first?" What would Julius say? Roy
Yeah, he
is-
would have really ruined that like build up, wouldn't he?
It's so
Yeah.
funny that I have to just do pain Subaru for the entire chapter because brother's taking on the pain of everyone around him at once.
Yeah.
I want you all to know
Roy
that while
is
I was
living as
narrating,
Ram.
I did my best to turn him down when he would yell. You're welcome. Your ears are welcome. I got you.
I'd
Subaru is-
imagine Julius would be the type of person if you said, "Give me the bad news first," he'd be like, "Well, I don't think you want that. So here's the good news first." And just completely
Actually, you're
ignore
gonna
Subaru.
ruin my dramatic flair, so I'm gonna give you what I want first.
Yeah, and then he tilts and brushes his bangs, and then so here's the good news.
I'm madly in love
There
with
is
Subaru. The bad news. We gotta fight Roy now.
The good news. Since we are in such dire straits, it has come to the point where I have to make my end of life proclamation that I am deeply in love with Subaru. The bad news. We are in a life or death situation where I don't think we're making it out of here because Roy is Reed right now. We may be fucked.
Absolutely.
And not in the way I was hoping for.
Yeah, not.
Oh
and
my God.
unfortunately for me, it's not by you, Subaru.
Ruff.
Alas,
Alas.
they beat Reed with Stevie B.
Hey, steamy boys love to save the
Julius
day.
Can I
Julius
just...
and Subaru make out in front of Reed and they're so flabbergasted and taken aback
He's
by
so
the fact
just-
that he's someone that isn't a woman as a man. That goes,
Yeah,
"What?"
he's like,
and then
"Wait."
combusts and
Yeah.
explodes on the spot.
Relationships outside men and women exist? What is this?
Bleh.
Then explodes.
Hey,
and
look,
dies.
we beat the other trial.
Oh, Common.
Yay!
That'd be horrible. That'd be horrifying.
That would be the funniest way to beat him. He can't comprehend that. Blows up.
No.
I mean, we could Ant-Man him. I think that'd be funnier, but
What?
What?
What? I mean, interestingly, Shala did not, in fact, maul Melee to death. So that's
Yay!
-1 on the Melee
That was
death
nice.
counter.
God.
-1.
She ain't dead again. Woo!
Yay, Melee!
Yeah, like, you know all those videos that have the death counters per loop, and they
Oh,
just keep
yeah.
on going up. At least for this one, out of all the Arc 6 loops, where she's just had it fucking rough. She's completely fine for at least one loop.
Yay,
I can
Melee.
feel Tepe's hatred for Melee.
It's not as strong as his hatred for Subaru, though.
It's true.
Nothing can
gave-
top
close.
that.
He gave him the most Subaru power of all time. What do? I take on other people's fucking pain and exhaustion. Like, that's the most
You are
fucking-
literally the suffering sponge.
Yeah, literally the
Yes.
sponge of suffering. Like, he's already got
And then,
RBD.
he's already had the mentality of it's the only thing I'm good for with another one of his powers, and now he's got another power where he can go, it's the only thing I'm good for, and then like try and justify him doing it that way.
Uh-huh.
And
Like, look, you said this is all you're good for. Embrace it.
the craziest thing is, as well, is that it's OP as fuck. Like, being able to
Oh, yeah.
stave off someone's
Oh,
exhaustion,
yeah.
especially for Ram in particular, makes her so much better of a fighter. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Her existing is agonizing.
It really makes you wonder how much she's been holding back this entire series.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been really bad the entire time. It's an added context to Ram's character that I think a lot of people wouldn't think of initially happening for her.
Like, let's think about it this way. Let's say that you had like a second heart that makes you just stronger, you except your body is built around the second heart, and then I ripped it off. So now your body's in excruciating pain because like your entire body isn't built to function without a second heart, and that's what she just constantly lives in. Now, if you told someone like that to walk without a second heart, versus if, they've had a full functioning body, that's what essentially we have, except just beating up a child instead of walking. That was a really weird analogy.
Let me try. It's like breaking someone's leg and then telling them, "Hey, go run a mile."
Okay, yeah, that's better. I was
There we go.
considering just saying, I was considering saying that, and then I pivoted to something else, and then my brain went, no, that doesn't work anymore. That doesn't make sense.
But
And
then
that's
you
how
were
we ended
already
up
like
with-
in it, and it's like, nope, commit. But
Yeah,
this analogy
well,
is
I
going
gotta
down.
talk about the second human heart now. Unfortunately. Originally, I was gonna say if I gave you a leg and then ripped that extra leg off, but no.
Nah.
No.
Nah.
Titanic Scorpion.
Interim Louis.
Like,
Interim Louis.
Louis.
Interim
Like,
Scorpion.
Borosu.
I was
Titanic
reading something,
Louis.
like, as it was going, then I was like, interim Louis, huh? That's a weird way of putting it. Okay, I looked down. Few seconds later, the interim Louis, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Interim Louis, huh? What a guy. What a guy, Tappy. Why did you write
What a
this?
fella.
What?
Interesting fella.
Hold on. How many times does it say?
Yeah.
20.
Oh my god. Yeah. Titanic
my
Scorpion
God.
is said 29 times.
Oh yeah. So we both got got.
29 times. Every single time, instead of just saying Scorpion. Hold on. Okay, Scorpion, at least it said 37. 29 out of those 37 times, it was Titanic Scorpion specifically.
Look, you gotta know this is a big ass scorpion.
Huge Scorpion. I gotta let you know, it's Titanic. The brutal
Biggest
attack
ever.
of the Titanic Scorpion. The jet black Titanic Scorpion.
Scorpion.
The rage you felt towards the Titanic Scorpion. The subject of the wrath, the Titanic Scorpion. The form of the Titanic Scorpion.
It just goes and goes and goes and goes.
Oh, one of the other times when Subaru was saying it, He says huge scorpion. That's a huge change. That's a huge
Yeah, that's not nearly as big. Must have shrunk a little bit. I mean, it is
that's
cold in the
how
hallway.
tiny.
That would explain it.
It's fucking scorpion, bro. The only other times, like, other than one, that it's just called a scorpion is because it's already called Titanic Scorpion in the paragraph that it's in already. So
Oh,
it'll say
boo.
Titanic
That's
Scorpion in the
just-
first sentence, and then the second sentence it'll just say Scorpion. And then sometimes it says Titanic Scorpion twice, like 2 sentences back to back.
Yeah, see, that's just called not committing to the bit. Coward's
Yeah,
way
like
out.
he should have just said Titanic Scorpion the entire time.
Yep.
We gotta put Titanic Scorpion in the credits now. Not Shala, that's the Titanic Scorpion.
The most beloved
Yeah,
character.
voice-
A fan favorite.
Yep.
Brad is
Scorpion.
voicing Titanic Scorpion.
Woo!
Specifically Titanic.
Yeah.
But with
I
that,
can't, like,
we should probably call it for today. I think we're starting to get a bit loopy.
Probably should. We're just rambling now.
Titanic Scorpion.
We're going off a
more.
bit, and we can't stop. So I'm gonna stop us before we can't stop ourselves.
Good job.
Exactly.
So thank you everyone for watching.
You
I hope
didn't
you're
have to
having
cut me
a
off.
lovely day or evening wherever you are. And goodbye everyone. Goodbye Titanic Scorpion. Goodbye Interim Louis.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.